Hey YouTube, this is Semper.Reefing here. This is my first video update or progression video of my Aqueon 210. I recently set this up. March 1st is when it started cycling, and it's doing pretty well, to be honest. I mean, I haven't really had any major algae outbreaks other than I did have some bad cyano, but that was fixed pretty quick with a dose of ChemiClean, and there were no negative side effects as a result. They really did a good job cleaning up everything. So for fish, I have a somewhat large foxface and sailfin, as well as my blue hippo, my mocha storm, and I've got two pajama cardinals hidden back there. For lights, I'm running 3 Ecotech XO30 G5s. I got these light shades on Etsy from Reef, and I love them. I didn't realize how much my eyes were straining when I was sitting on the couch, but yeah, these shades are great. For flow, I have this Higer wave maker right here. I got it on Amazon. It really does a great job pushing a lot of water, and I do have a used MP40 that also does a good job. Eventually I will add more flow to the tank. I do want to put a gyre back here just to kind of circulate more water and to push more detritus up in the water column for filtration. I do have a crushed coral bed, and I honestly really like it. I know some people like to have a nice and white sand bed. I could care less, to be honest. I've noticed that actually some of the coral is starting to grow out on the coral bed, and it also has contributed greatly to my copepod population. I think it just really gives them more room to, more of a habitat to grow and thrive. Yeah, my wall hammer, I took a chance on that. It wasn't doing too well to begin with, but I've been pretty hands off, and it's actually kind of coming back. Everything else is doing pretty well. Some of these, well, my Miyagi turret doesn't look the best, as well as my pink Cadillac frags. They're coming back after I had an acro-eating flatworm problem that I mentioned in my other video with the 50 Lagoon, but I dipped everything twice. By the second dip, I didn't have any flatworms coming off, so I assumed that I've got them under control. Everything is doing pretty well. Everything's actually growing. This purple stylo started off with maybe 3 or 4 branches, and it's really starting to branch out. These Monty caps I got from a local, they've also started taking off, especially this green one. You can kind of see that ring of growth and how it's starting to take hold of the rock. Right now I actually only dose Kalkwasser. I do have some BRS products to make minor adjustments to alkalinity, magnesium, and calcium as needed, but it's pretty rare. My alkalinity sits anywhere from 8 to 8.5. Calcium stays about 420, 450, and then magnesium, I keep it 14 to 1450. And as you can see, I've got plenty of coralline growth, and just everything minus that wall hammer is actually really doing well and starting to grow like crazy. This is my side shot. I tried to do somewhat of a three-dimensional scape for the fish to kind of swim in and out of the rocks and more places to hide. I do run UV 24/7. It's a Lifeguard 55 watt. And it's actually a closed loop system. Sorry for the glare, but I will actually cut this intake up to here, and I do have the outlet put coming out, and it actually does provide a good bit of supplemental flow. And here it is right here. I did use some scrap PVC parts, so it's not the prettiest, but it's also kind of hidden, so you don't really even see it. It doesn't bother me. And I'm using a Jabeo DCP 8000. Eventually I'll put a flow sensor on there so I can kind of dial it in better. But as of now, it's been working really well. And I haven't had really any algae problems at all, minus the cyano since I started. I did have a big diatom bloom, as expected, but I've added maybe 75 to 100 snails, mostly just Astrea snails and Mexican turbo snails, and then maybe 50 or so assorted hermit crabs. My filtration is actually not in here. I plumbed it into the garage, mainly just to have more room to work in. I do all my water changes out of my sump. Every 2 to 3 weeks I'll do a water change, and I'll siphon out all the detritus in the sump and kind of clean it out. And it's been working pretty well. My nitrates hang around 20 parts per million, and phosphate, keep it around 0.1. That's just kind of what I've always aimed at. And everything has been doing pretty well. I've never really had torches before, but I started off with this green one, and it looked like it was doing well. It's actually growing. It just recently split, so I figured I'd try to do a Indo Gold, and I'm still trying to work on getting more of the vibrant gold colors out of it. So any suggestions I would greatly appreciate. But as of now, I'm not gonna stress about the coloration, being that it is still somewhat of a new tank. But that's pretty much it. I'll give y'all a little tour of my filtration in the garage. So here's my filtration setup. I'll start with the chiller. I just got that recently on BRS, just had a sale. My temperature was climbing up to 81 degrees. It does get hot here in the summertime in South Carolina, and the garage will get up to 84 degrees, 84, 85 degrees. So it was pretty much necessary for the chiller and just a peace of mind. And ever since, it has kept my temperature stable. Coming in here, I have the Baxi Pro 48, and I just love all the space that it comes with and the multiple chambers. It's so easy to do water changes. When I do water changes, I'm able to clean the entire sump and get all the detritus out and run it right out the door, and then pump fresh salt water right back in. Just really easy. No more hauling buckets around. I've got the Red Sea Reef Mat 1200, which is fantastic. I love it. I love not changing filter socks. I picked up this Aquamax Q3 from BRS as well. They were on sale. It's just good timing, I guess. And I am running a CO2 scrubber with that. My refugium section, I will be getting some Kato, just to help control nitrates. And then in my return chamber, I have my calc drip line, and I have a spare return pump that's just pushing water and just helps kind of blend the calc in so I don't get all that crustiness and calcification, less cleaning. I do enjoy having all this space for doing tests and whatnot. Back to the calc, I do have an ice cap, the medium calc reactor with a Kamoer X1, and that is pulling RODI out of this 20-gallon brute. And it's nice because I only have to fill that up maybe once every 10 days. I do have my extra supplements, storage, HANA checkers for nutrients, alkalinity, magnesium. I dose as needed. I do run a Neptune Apex controller. Currently not using the dose. I'm strictly using the Kalkwasser, and no issues as of yet. The calc also is my ATO at the moment. I do dose 5 milliliters a minute, and it's been working well. It's been keeping my parameters very stable and keeping my pH. It'll dip down to 8 at the lowest sometimes, but it usually stays at 8.1 to 8.3. That is pretty much it. I got this tent off of Amazon, and I just figured I'd rather have everything in somewhat of a enclosed environment, just in case I'm doing work in the garage. Just keeping any contaminants out of the sump and disrupting my aquarium. That is pretty much it. I know it's not the most beautiful setup, but it's a work in progress. Everything is. I kind of got this tank going with what I could, using a lot of used parts, but eventually I'll be upgrading everything over time and really cleaning up everything over time as well. But that is it. Thank you all. Have a good day.